think we now set. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. All right. Let me see. All right. This is Made Prince. We are here for week 4. It is June 5th, 2024. So let's pop right up. Oh, we're waiting for one more guy. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. So the only other person, Johnny, Daryl, Reggie. Have you heard from Daryl?
I did. His wife had he just texted me. He said he was gonna email you. His
Okay.
wife had some car trouble. She got stranded, and so he's with roadside assistance trying to get her squared away.
Okay. Okay. Very
Yeah,
good.
he
Okay.
said he'll probably be joining a little late, but he said he's gonna try to get on his phone.
Okay. All right. No problem. All right. Well, then I'll go ahead and get you guys started then, and I'll catch up with him. Okay. Okay. You guys see the screen there?
Yes, sir.
You guys see the screen? Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. So this week, it's going to be these questions from this week. They are part of the short part of the test specification. There's 2 questions that came out of the salary information sources. One of the things that was delayed in getting the quiz done was NFLPA wanted to send out the signals. Did you guys get the full 7 rounds of signals from NFLPA as of yet?
I got the source.
Not yet.
I got the draft signals.
Not yet.
Nah, I
But-
haven't.
But okay,
Only the
so
one from last year.
yeah, only the one. Okay, so the ones that I sent you that were attached. Did you guys see that for the quiz this week?
Yes.
So the ones that I had attached, and again, we're waiting for. We thought they were going to get this stuff done and get it to you. Ironically, I'm sure they're going to send it to you probably the next week or two. But the draftee signals are part of the salary information sources. On the exam, one of the main thing that's on the exam is the columns, so that you can see the see the rookie pool number, the signing bonus, the P5 salaries. Obviously, you guys remember that. Just remember that the P5 salaries for the draft picks are everybody gets 4 years, except for the first round gets 5 years. Okay, and that 5th year is optional, and that is team optional, not player optional. But that's really one of the questions that's on the exam, and then just so that you are able to calculate salaries. Really, they want to make sure you can read them, and so that you can see them and read them, read from that chart. Okay, so drafting salary average. So Article 7 on there, page 21. Obviously, there are 7 rounds, 256 or 257 picks in the draft, depending on what compensatory picks there are or non-compensatory picks there are. The first round, again, we just talked about that, gets 4-year contract plus the option year. First round option year is at club discretion. The average guaranteed dollars by round is on that signals. So if you guys remember on the front sheet of signals, I don't know if we can see if I can flip back and forth with this. But if you guys have seen the front part of signals where it says guaranteed dollars by round, and most of the guaranteed dollars are primarily the signing bonus. So when you see, if you see the differences in the percentage, which is a percentage of max comp, you'll see the signing bonus, and then you'll see total comp, and then max comp. Okay, and that total guarantee is basically the signing bonus. Okay, do you guys see that on there? I'm not sure if you guys have it popped up or you can look at it. But those are what those numbers, those headings mean for each one of those columns, which is good because it helps and it speeds up things when you are taking the exam. But you just got to really be able to identify it quickly. And then with the only thing that's going to take you some time to do is really in calculating those 5 years. And then the other thing is to look at if there's a question on, where the full split is. And then if in the fact pattern of the question, it says that during his first 3 years, for example, like during his first 3 years, a drafted rookie for the Chicago Bears played every single game, and then he was injured in the postseason of his 3rd year and missed the first half of the season of his 4th year, and only played in the first 4 games, or his first 4 games were after he missed the first half of the season, and then he got re-injured on the 5th game, and then it's going to ask, what was his total salary, and then you have to go back to signals and you have to see, did he get a credited season? Because some, as you see, if you see on there, it says the base is tied to credited seasons, and sometimes that Y is in the 2nd and 3rd year, again, but not the 1st and 4th year. So you have to make sure you pay attention to where the Y is. So sometimes there's 1, sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's none. So, and again, as an agent, you want to hopefully negotiate none as much as possible. So that's part of the signals. You guys, if you remember doing your calculations, for salary, no rookie gets 25% over year 1 P5 salary. So when you're doing your calculations, just remember those things as far as the percentage wise and what it's over, and it's really that's that maximum. Again, for the exam, you only need to know the maximum as you're doing the calculations. Okay, so you don't have to worry about if it's like 17% or 12%. No, they only work with whole numbers, and the big part is the maximum. Club salary information. This is part of Article 12, page 69. Just remember, AR is all revenue. Yeah, AR means all revenue. It means it's, again, that's on an accrual basis. That was a 2023 salary cap was 224.8. This 2024 salary cap had a big jump to 255.4 million for all clubs. Next year, we're projecting it to be about 290 for next year. Keep it in mind. This is one of the questions, or one of the part of the reading was the questions from like week 1, 2. Clubs must spend 90% over a 3-year period. And remember that. So on the exam, the 3-year period, it goes 3, 3, 3, and 4. 4 is the last 4 years of the CBA. Okay, so that keeps it in that even number. But 4 years is the last 4 years of the collective bargaining agreement, because then we go into it expires in March, and we're going back into new one. League-wide spending must be 95%. Again, that's that multi-year, kind of what we're just talking about now. Any salary increase. Okay, so this is another kind of a good question on the exam when you're looking at the weeks. Any salary increase after 4 p.m. After 4 p.m., week 10 is a signing bonus. Okay, then you have to go to that signing bonus proration. When you look at it, or when it comes up on the exam, your trigger is seeing a lot of 359. So if you see a bunch of different questions that, again, if it talks about salary, credited seasons, 3:59 p.m., just think about an alert in your head. Okay, get ready for some craziness in this question, and then make sure you pay attention to what the actual question is asking, because that's going to be the other crucial part. The question that's asking, if it pertains to that signing bonus proration, or what is this salary cap hit for whichever year of the 4 or 5 years they're going to ask you about. Make sure you kind of use that in your calculations. Okay. Position salary information. Okay, so if you guys have, I know some people have used it because I've seen it in your essays. The position salaries can be found on the NFLPA website, and or what you guys won't have access to it, but the more you'll have access to Spot Track. As agents, you'll be able to see position salaries on the NFLPA website. But for now, as non-agents, and this is really, I can't speak for, because I don't know who's running it. I don't know. I don't think he's an actual agent, but no, he definitely can't be an agent, because the salaries, if you guys did or did not know, that stuff is technically confidential. It's not supposed to be shared. But keeping that in mind, whoever's in charge of the Spot Track, they are pretty spot on in terms of the salary breakdowns that they use. So again, I don't know who it is, but it's not something that when you become an agent that you'll want to be quick familiar with. But as of right now, and what you're redoing for the draft simulation, we'll definitely, let me see, I think somebody did this up on. Oh, somebody had a question. Tony, go ahead. You had a question.
Yeah, for the salary cap, when you have injury, skill, and cap, when that's fully guaranteed, that goes against the cap. Yes, that's prorated.
Absolutely.
So when there's only 2 of them involved, those 2 are the only ones that we prorate.
Right, and it's not guaranteed. Right.
Okay, because I know like the trip up, like I was reading, I haven't done quiz 4 yet because I saw it came in a little bit later. So I'll finish that tonight. But my question was, so for example, if they say like proration versus total salary cap, that's where they get tricky with it.
Yes. Yeah, and for a salary cap and for proration and for I guess kind of triggers for you in full guarantees. Anything that says full and guaranteed, and again, the questions on the exam are not about tricking you. It's about making sure you know what it applies to. Okay?
Yeah, I just want to orientate.
So you know what I'm saying? The only thing that's a guarantee is skill, injury, and cap.
Got it.
Okay. And the club, again, on Spot Track, you can look at club salaries as well. Okay, so you can look at position salaries, you can look at club salaries. Again, that is as of now until you become an agent, which will be in that October. But that's another place as far as a quick reference. It's not always exact. Okay, but it is pretty spot on. I do have realized that on some other occasions for sure. Question. Wait, does somebody else have a question on that? Reggie, Johnny?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Player contracts. Again, these are all key components and highlights for the exam and things that you want to know. Again, we pulled out the things that were majorly important. Again, all this stuff is again just majorly important. So it's not a bunch of stuff. It's only more specific things. And again, you'll see the slides, but if you have questions on it, again, the whole purpose of doing the presentation to make sure that you can recall from it. Okay. On player contracts, the default agent commission is 1.5%. Okay. Even though this goes into our agent regulations, it's also part of the player contract. Eventually, when you do the SRAs, when you do the submission for the SRAs, it's going to say 1.5%. on the exam, they're going to ask you about the default commission, and then they're going to ask you, how do you change that? Okay, when you're submitting your SRA electronically. Again, part of that from the NFLPA, if you guys haven't received, those diagrams, there's diagrams. They're going to ask you questions about the diagrams. What do you click on? Where do you push? And again, some of that stuff, I know it's ridiculous to keep repeating this, but when you're in the seminar, they're going to go over it in the seminar too. And the same thing that I'm doing with you, this is great for you guys for these next 8 to 10 weeks, but you're getting all the stuff from the seminar now that you can study for now, so that you can learn about it now. And then when you hear it in the seminar, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I got that. I remember that. Okay, good. And then for sure, as you're taking your notes, and then it's even better, and again, this is only us that's in here, guys that do private tutoring, I talked to them about this too, but on the exam wise, you're definitely going to recognize some similar questions from the questions that I'm giving you, and for the exam that we're going to do at the end of our prep course. You're going to see a lot of similarities, and you're going to see those same things. So that's, again, the part of this basic thing is to make sure that you are able to recall that information, quickly identify that you've heard that, you've read that, you went over that, you know where to find it, so you can get a confirmation on the questions that you may have an asterisk by, that you want to come back to, that you may think that you may have forgotten, but you want to confirm, where it is. So definitely keep that in mind too. On the player contracts, so they must notify the NFLPA of other contracts. Other contracts, like, so as a full service agency, what we do besides contract negotiations, which that really is basically the NFLPA. But after the contract negotiation, we also do marketing and endorsements. We also do relocation assistance. We do real estate management, not like property management. So some guys, they buy property here and there. So we make sure we work on those deals with them. We also do non-profit management. And we have a partnership. With the Players Philanthropy Fund. Have you guys heard of the Players Philanthropy Fund? You guys know what that is? Question?
Is that a 501c3?
So no. So the Players Philanthropy Fund is basically it's a nonprofit management for players that want to have a nonprofit without going through the 501(c)(3) status, because that does take sometimes 6 months to a year, depending on how they move. But the Players Philanthropy Fund is headed by, if you guys remember, the two-time Super Bowl champion Matt Stover. You guys remember Matt Stover, the kicker?
No.
So Matt Stover played in the NFL, I think for about 22 years. He's a two-time, Super Bowl champion. He again, this is great business-wise. In college, him and his buddy. Now, you guys may have used his website that he started when he was in college. Him and a buddy started this website in college. Your wives definitely may have used it. You may refer your kids to it. But him and his buddy started this website, and he had it again all the way through about 22 years of him playing in the NFL, plus another 5 or 6 coming up, after he started it in college. And it's called creditcards.com. So creditcards.com is basically, so if you ever, I'm sure you can Google it, but if you hear the stories or you see stories about Matt Stover used none of his NFL contract money because he was making money somewhere else, and he was making lots. I'm not going to tell you how much, but he was making lots of money with his creditcards.com website. And what that was like MBNA, American Express, Visa. They would pay to be on the website so that it got information to all his, subscribers, followers, and viewers and stuff like that. And he sold it in his last year for close to $130 million. So that's how he, again, he kept that going all throughout his playing career. But what he did with his money, he started this nonprofit it's kind of how you say nonprofit for profit, but it's a nonprofit, but it's more on the financial side of things, because how it works is guys pay, they put into it, like say a guy wants to start his nonprofit. He would say, okay, well, how much do you got? Our minimum is XYZ PDQ. They would say, hey, well, give us, 50,000 or 100,000. And then really kind of just like, any banks and stuff, they invest that money. Again, it's FDIC insured. And then they take care of all the back end compliance that's needed for a nonprofit. So a guy can, if you had a client, like say, Reggie, you want to represent your son for the 2025 NFL draft, and he gets drafted in April, makes it through camp in August, and then September he's like, well, I've always wanted to give back to my community. I want to start a nonprofit. Well, if you do it one of two ways, because some guys do, some guys don't, depends on what they feel like their time is like, and how proactive they are. But if a guy wants to file for it and start that process in September, it's a lot of stuff that's got to get done. I don't know if you guys have done it before, but again, he can start it then, and then by the summertime, usually by the summertime for sure, by June or July, for sure they'll get a number. But some guys don't, and they wait until the end of the season, and then they say, you know what? I know, this January, February, I want to do stuff for my community, but it's going to take forever for me to raise money. Well, so what the Players Philanthropy Fund is, they'll be able to take the donations for you on your behalf as a third party donor. Go ahead, Reggie.
Well, funny you said that, because with the whole NIL thing, he got his 1099 last year from Arkansas, and he was like, I'm like, dude, you got to pay taxes on that. So what I did going into this season with, he always had a thing for kids with Down syndrome and autism. Mm-hmm. So I created the R.J. Johnson Foundation for Autism and Down syndrome. And so now the University of Colorado, all his NIL money is going to the foundation, and he can go out now and get corporate sponsors to donate money to that foundation. Is that, am I already kind of ahead of the game in doing that?
That's perfect. Yeah, that's great. And again, if you just have it under RJ, you just have it under one foundation name. You don't have it under specific for like Down syndrome or anything like that, right?
It says the legal name. The whole name is RJ Johnson Foundation for Autism and Down syndrome.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely have the game of getting it started and having one. If you want a general one, again, a lot of times most guys, when you get to that status, a lot of guys just want to put it in their name, just put it RJ Johnson Foundation.
Gotcha. And that way you can branch out different entities.
Right. And then of course, and if you get a corporate sponsor, they can earmark it again in the foundation to the autism, in the foundation to youth football camps, in the foundation to Down syndrome services. It's a lot of things you can do if you do it under one umbrella instead of just having it. Again, it's not really going to make a major difference, but it'll be something that corporate donors will see and think about. If you say, hey, I know you're trying to get sponsored for this football camp, but is it for Down syndrome kids in football camp? They're like, well, no, the football camp is separate. Like, oh, okay. All right, well, let us know when you get the 513C for the football camp as opposed to the autism and Down syndrome. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. So that would be, your next best case scenario is to get it under one name. And again, if you've already been through part of that process anyway, well, that's what the Players Philanthropy Fund does for players and stuff. But it's ppf.org. But anyway, but that's what other contracts are that you have to submit to the NFLPA. Johnny, go ahead, man.
Yeah, question. So is this philanthropy fund only for active current NFL players, or is this a separate entity from the NFLPA?
Yeah, no. They're only okay, so for players, any active players, you have to submit that contract for. Okay. If it's a non-active player, you don't. However, the philanthropy fund itself, they do work with nonprofits. They do work with other companies and, basically other nonprofits. But in terms of the NFLPA, the only time you need to add the attachment to the SRA or add the attachment when you're updating contracts for a player in the NFLPA, they just have to be active.
What about Division I college student athletes?
What about them?
Would they be able to register with this philanthropy fund organization?
Sure. Absolutely.
What about high school?
Yes. So again, how it works to get it to be a part of the Players Philanthropy Fund, what would happen is you would, contact, they would contact me. We would talk about what are your goals? What are you trying to do? Do you have infrastructure already in place? Do you have bylaws, et cetera, et cetera? And typically, again, it's somebody that wants to get something going. Like right now, it's the beginning of June, right? And say a high school player, usually a senior high school player has an NIL deal, and he says, I want to get back to my community. I want to have this, this fundraiser. But I don't have 513C. We're gonna have this big banquet. I got one sponsor, and I'm sure I can get more. Well, contact us. Let us know what it is as far as the management side of things. And then what we would do is say, okay, do you have a deposit for your fundraising that you're gonna do? Because again, it's not people that are starting off with scratch. It's people that have received like $100,000, right? So somebody received $100,000 from a sponsor and said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to handle all the compliance for it. We'll get all your 990 forms, put all together, all that stuff. Reggie already knows about this, but we'll put all that stuff together. And then now as you raise money, you can have the checks written out to that person and in the to the foundation, and then in the memo they'll earmark that through, and it'll be endorsed through PPF, and then PPF will submit all that money. Again, they'll do all of the compliance stuff as a tertiary fundraiser, and then they'll put all that info together. And then you'll be in compliance when it's time to file your taxes and everything. Well, his tax, whoever the taxes are. And that's what the Players Philanthropy Fund does for him.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. So now here's a big thing that came up. This has been, I guess, recent since 21, 22. I know the pandemic changed up a lot of things. Actually, I was just at the Ohio State football camp today, speaking to those guys, and then talking with some of the NFL players and other guys that were there. Only one designated payee on a player contract. Now, if you look at signals, sometimes you'll see 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. Those are the people that are signing the SRAs. But as far as a player's contract, only one agent is on it. Whoever that head I'll call it a head agent, first agent. Let's say, for example, I know I do some. I'm on a couple of different contracts with some guys, but let's say, for example, Reggie, you representing your son, and you say, well, man, I would feel a lot more comfortable if I had like Main Prince working with me on this negotiating and doing all this stuff for my son's contract. Well, depending on how they have it set up or how you want it set up, either you would be that first agent on there, and then I would be the secondary agent, or vice versa. And then when the checks come in, they will be put in that one person's name. They will be able to bill for the commission, and then you have to distribute you do real estate, so you already know, but then you have to.
That's how it is now with the real estate brokerage, yeah.
Exactly. So, and then you just have to make sure you pay that other person. That's it. Now, again, if you don't pay that other person, then what happens after that? What happens if you don't? I know we haven't got to this part yet, but maybe a little bit. What happens if an agent doesn't pay another agent? What happens?
I'm sure there'd be some type of
Grievance.
yeah.
Very, very good. It's a non-football grievance. So then you would file with the NFLPA. Then they would find out. They would do all their little research, and then again they would find the arbitrator. Usually they do it like this by Zoom before they decide on making you come all the way to Washington, D.C. But if you do have to go all the way to Washington, D.C., you're going to have to pay for your travel, your hotel, meals, transportation, and stuff. If you get to that point, and that's only if the arbitrator that has worked with you and the arbitrator can't get you guys to you can't agree, right? That again, why would an agent not pay another agent? Well, they may say again, it could be again, it's a myriad of reasons, and I don't want to get too deep into it. It's not on the exam, but an agent may think that you know what, you really didn't do that much, so I don't feel like well that's not what we talked about when we agreed on doing this. You see what I'm saying? And then that's what some agents do, and again, it happens on a yearly basis. That happens. So, but in any event, for sure, on the exam, it's gonna have a whole bunch of fact patterns, and then talk about which agent can bill for the commission, and it'll just say bill for commission. They don't say bill for monthly or weekly. I mean, it's up to you to how you would want to bill when you become an agent, but most agents bill monthly, bill every 4 weeks. So that also is part of on that exam. Again, the signing bonus proration, the maximum is 5 years. So the only people that are going to get past 5 years anyway would be a second or third contract veteran or renegotiated contract veteran that gets a 7-year deal. You're going to prorate for salary cap for that salary cap hit 5 years. Okay, so if you get a question like that in terms of a guy gets a renegotiated contract and he got a $2 million signing bonus. Well, what's going to be the salary cap hit? Just say year 4 or year 5, and then you'll know. Okay, well, I have to prorate this $4 million for the first 5 years, and then that's it. So that's a maximum of 5 years. Contracts can be scanned and uploaded to the NFLPA website. Again, if you guys haven't gotten this as of yet by then, and I'm sure that it should be coming, then I can have some screenshots and submit that to our materials page. But again, because it is on the exam, because it asks you where do you go to submit an SRA, and then where you go to submit an SRA is on the left-hand side on the agents column, where it literally just says submit an SRA. Matter of fact, let me see something. I'll just show you because I can show you that for sure. So NFLPA, and I'm just gonna get on here and sign in, and I'm gonna share this tab. You guys see my NFLPA tab?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So see here on this left side, see where it says see where it says agents over here on the left-hand side? And this is player representation. See that there? And then it says submit an SRA. Right. And then this is where, and then this is the screenshot that'll come with your source documents, and this is where you put in all your information. And then, so remember when I talked about the designated payee? Once you put your name, you can only put one name in there. You see that there? So this is the designated payee. And then if you wanted to add a secondary payee on there, that's where you would add the other people. You see what I'm saying? You guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but again, and then down here, this is what we just talked about earlier. The default for players contract is 1.5, but you can go as low as 1.0, or you can do a sliding scale as well. Typically, just so you guys know, if you haven't already asked about this to anybody or seen, or why would anybody do less than 3% as it is? Well, again, it's a part of your prospecting and recruiting and negotiating with your prospect. Say you had, I mean, he didn't have one, so I was gonna say Marvin, but it's like Caleb Williams. If you were to represent a for sure first round pick like Caleb Williams, you might say, okay, I'll do the 1.5%. And they were like, well, man, the other two agents I talked to said they was going to do 1%. And again, if it's tomatoes, you're going to get more marketing stuff as well anyway with that guy. You may say, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll do the 1%, and then we'll do whatever the percent you negotiate on, whatever you guys negotiate on thingamajigger on marketing. And again, that'll overpay that anyway. So, but anyway, so that's where it says on the agents stuff, where you can actually do the interactive reports and all that kind of stuff. And then this is the other stuff that is some of this is on your quiz, but this is where all the other stuff is for team salary report and how you build a salary report as well. Building a salary report is something what you guys are going to do this weekend for week 5 for our draft simulation. Let me flip back. Johnny, go ahead with your question, man.
So just going through what you just said in regards to having multiple agents on the SRA, it seems to me that it would be beneficial to have an agreement between the agents in order who's going to do what, so there'll be no discrepancies at the end. Oh, you didn't pull your weight at when it's time to get paid. So basically you want to say, okay, this is your job. For example, lead agent, is going to be dictating everything. Agent B is coming in to help. For example, let's just say, for argument's sake, Agent B is coming in just to help negotiate the contract, but the lead agent's going to take the entire marketing with a separate marketing agency. So it's basically get everything in writing, and have the different, like your agreement on there with the multiple either agencies or agents.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When you are doing any type of agreement, okay, you definitely want to get things done in writing. Okay. That's first and foremost. Other than that, again, when you get that is going to be for you to have that as that designated payee, whoever that person is. You definitely want to have that done. Again, it's not going to be so much like a 50-50 in time. It's really about knowledge, expertise, and having somebody go through that with you and help you with that. Because some people are stronger in some things and some people are stronger in other things. It may not be a 50-50 thing, but for sure you will tell the difference between being able to, because it happens a lot, being able to negotiate with one team versus another, because there is a good old boy network. And sometimes, again, hardball is really kind of needless to say. Sometimes teams, they do act biased towards other agents. I'm trying to be politically correct because we're recording this. So yeah, so it does. You'll be able to, you'll know as part of your surveying after you get your client, how some teams respond to you and your phone calls versus getting phone calls from, like, say, like a Lee Steinberg or Chris Cabot, or a Rich Paul, and things of that nature. So that does happen quite frequently as well. Because again, your job as an agent is to get the best deal possible for your client. And sometimes it may not be possible on your own, which is why you would want to be with another agent. Does that answer your question, John?
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. And in the contract, and that side of the scale. Now, does anybody have any other questions about what we talked about just now? Because that is great on timing for sure. And then we talked about so far today.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
For the SRA, you said when
Yeah.
you submit that, it's that simple for the question. We just go to the left tab, go to representation, and input our name.
No. So okay, let me go back. You got, so again, it's going to ask you about again, you'll see it in the fact pattern. It'll actually, you may get a true false question, or you may get a what's next question. But let me see if it'll pop right up. But no, it's not just your name. Okay, good. Let's see. Here we go. Dashboard. Oh, it's not. So on the left-hand side, where do you find it? Under player representation. Can you see that? See my tab, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So player representation, SRA. So you see the three, there's other tabs in here, right? So
Right.
Who was it? Johnny. So Johnny, you asked me about inactive players or active players, as far as what documentation you want to enter. So again, if you as an agent wanted to see an inactive player, so some inactive players would be really more or less confirmation, like the guys that are playing in the UFL, United Football League. Clearly, they're not active in the NFL, but if you wanted to find out who their agents were, if they played, if they even signed an SRA in the NFL, that would be under the inactive list. All current players, current and active players, would be in the active player agent list. Okay. But on this, as far as submitting an SRA, that's where you would go. You would click on the SRA, and you see here, Tony, you have to put, obviously you have to put, not obvious, but you have to put your SRA date it was signed, right? So let's say, again, that's enough. I mean, that's part of the agent regulations, but you guys know when you can sign a player?
Yeah, after the is it the day after the last regular college game?
No. It's after not their regular college game. It's the day after when they've exhausted their eligibility, and it's after their last game period. Like, so again, regular game is their 10 games. Especially I don't know if you guys saw the notice that just came out about the playoffs is now December 20th. They start on December 20th, right? So for those that are not in the playoffs, that would be their final season game, right? If you're not in the playoffs. So this basically December 19th, you clear to sign a guy, right?
Right.
Those guys that are in the playoffs, say someone is, let me look at and I'm trying to make this a story tell, Tony, for you, so when it comes up, you'll be able to do it. But so the Friday is the 20th, right? So the games are Friday and Saturday. If whoever's playing Friday and Saturday, if they lose, you can sign them that night. You know what I'm saying? So if you got somebody that's in the playoffs and you attend the game, and again, it does happen, that build up from like say December 1st through December 19th, and you've been talking to them, you've been talking with your family, blah, blah, blah. You worked out what you're going to cover as far as training and this, that, and the other. Well, you can go to their game and you can sign them right after that game if they've lost. Now, if they've won, you can't, clearly. But again, and then it goes to the next week because it's going to be week after week. So if they played on Friday, they may play next Saturday, which is the 28th. Some, they're going to have games on the 27th. And then eventually they'll keep doing that week after week after week. But you can sign a player after they've exhausted their last game of their last collegiate game. Okay. Does that answer your kind of your statement, I guess, for the most part, Johnny?
Yeah, so it's basically the last game, not the regular season game. I don't know why I thought, but I also thought it was the day after their last game.
So again, having it signed is you can sign it right then. Okay, so that's
and then post dated.
Right. No, not post dated. So if say your guy plays on the 20th and he loses, okay, you sign him on the 20th. You submit his SRA. I submit SRAs ASAP. But you can say you submit your SRA on the 23rd, okay, on Monday, which is, say the game is on Friday, you submit it on Monday. Tony, you don't put the date that you submitted in the date SRA signed by the player. You put, this is the date that you submitted. You put the date that it was signed by the player. So you would put 12/20/24.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying, Johnny and Tony?
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm just curious though for that SRA question. It's just gonna be that simple, left tab and then just navigate as long as we know how to navigate.
Yes. And then again, you should have, again, it's recall, but you should have the screenshots if the NFLPA will give it to you, or they're going to show it to you in the seminar. And then after you do the date, then you do player information. If your guy has a nickname, I forgot. I'm so bad. I don't even know his real name, but like a guy from Ohio State, Steel Chambers, the linebacker, that's not his. I think I want to say Darnell. You will put in there player's nickname is Steele. And then you put his first name is Darnell, last name Chambers. That's what that is for, as a nickname. They're not looking for you to put in Lil Pookie. Oh, that's Lil Pookie name right there. No. They're not asking you for that. They're asking you for a player that uses a nickname as his player's name on things instead of his actual license name.
So some of these questions are pretty gimme.
Yes, absolutely. And again, see, here's the thing. Again, I can't speak for everybody, but some people have brought it up that they have missed some of these. They're only gimmies to you because now you as a person can receive that information, and it's easy for you to remember. You dig what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that's the same thing with a lot of stuff. Like especially like the one easy. Well, I say it's easy. Again, I shouldn't say that because it's not. The one question about when is a player eligible for the draft that graduated high school in December of 2021. So if he graduated high school in 2021, remember the answer to that is 3 fall seasons have started and passed. So they have to start and pass as far as the NFL, and when he would have graduated with the rest of his class, which technically would be June of 22. And then you go through that cycle and write it down. You see what I'm saying? So some things are they seem like gimmies, but don't let that deter you from answering something that's not a gimme. You
Exactly.
understand? You understand what I'm saying? So keep that in mind when you're doing stuff. And then again, as far as the exam, where it's going to stop is really at the contract advisor's fee. He's going to ask you about the designated payee, and then it's going to ask you about the fee. What fee? What's the default fee for a contract advisor? And then again, I think everybody can still see the tab. So in the tab for additional documents, okay, this is where all the extra stuff. And again, we represent some coaches, but if you guys are going to decide to represent coaches, that SRA for the coaches, that goes in there. Your general marketing goes in there. For what, again, it's totally up to you. And then these are only possibilities. If you are advancing somebody money for, if you're giving a marketing advance, that agreement's got to go in there as well. And again, these are all, negotiating, prospecting tactics, right? So if you're talking to a guy, you say, hey, man, listen, if you go with me, I will guarantee you a marketing deal of $1 million, okay, which is basically, 250, at 250,000 per quarter. So if you're going to tell a guy, I'm going to guarantee you $1 million in marketing, then you have to add that marketing agreement to as far as other documents. If you're doing any pre-draft training, that January and February, getting ready for the combine, getting ready for the pro day, that's what that means as far as pre-draft training. You have to submit that as well in there if you have an agreement on there. If you loan a guy money, I absolutely don't loan money to guys. And I tell guys, hey, I know it's in our company agreement. If I advance you money, then I can charge you the highest interest rate possible, which is like could be 28% or whatever. It changes by state, but the VIG is gonna be high. So I tell them, hey, don't ask me for money. You've been playing football. Now we got this NIL stuff, which is a little bit different. You guys, I tell guys, you don't need the money. You know what I'm saying? If you're that good anyway, you already got an NIL deal. I got a couple guys right now that I'm prospecting. They're getting $75,000 stipend once a month for his whole senior year or this whole final year. One guy's a junior and one guy's a senior. They're already getting money. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you do loan guys money, you got to put that in there. Okay. And not you guys here, but if you're a lawyer and you're going to provide legal services, you got to put that in here. If you're a CPA, you got to put that in there. None of you guys, this doesn't apply to you guys. Wait, Johnny, are you a financial advisor?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so you got if somebody is a financial, you got to put that in there. But again, I'm just showing you what all is in there as far as then you would click on submit and everything.
But I am an NIL agent registered with different states. So I guess that would go. So would
that's
that
just
go
part
under
of the
other?
marketing agreement. Yeah, it is other, but that's just part of the marketing agreement. Yep.
Yeah.
And that would be just general, unless you're advancing your client money.
Got it.
Well, whoever, again, getting ready for the NFL draft that pertains to.
Correct.
All right, so let's get back out of here and go back over to here. Okay. All right, so we're gonna move forward. What are we for questions? Let's see. I want to be in the presenter's view. Pop out of here. Okay. So we are going to question 1. Now, again, I know, again, waiting on the NFLPA and getting that quiz to you guys late, because I wanted that. He told me it was going to be done on Sunday, but it definitely was not. But because again, I'm trying to get kind of like what Tony and somebody was saying earlier about layups. I'm trying to give you guys some specific, some shorter questions and more just as specific. And this came up in another question before about the practice squad contract that has 21 sections. But question is, how many sections? How many sections of the NFL player contract are there? You guys know?
25.
Yeah, 25. Yes. And again, it is all the way down to the bottom, and those are the numbered sections. Okay, there's a lot of, the pages like 30 pages or so. But again, as far as when you're looking at those sections of the player contract, there's 25 in there. And again, part of the, the question, when this question comes up on the exam, again, what they're trying to give you, Tony, is a layup. They try to give you layups, but hopefully it is a layup that you can make. Because tomorrow, so we got the NBA Finals. Guarantee you're gonna see some layups. Like, Dad, that looks like a layup. How he miss a layup? Hold on. Dude is 7 feet tall. How he miss a dunk? He should have been able to dunk that easy.
That's what I'm saying, though. Why do so many people, not struggle, but like get so tricked on it? You know what I mean? Like it seems like it's a good
people think it's a trick question. That's why, because it's so easy that you're like, there's no way that this question is that easy. It has to be a trick question. So you get wrapped up in your head like it's a trick question, and then that's when everything goes south. If you like just overthink
right.
things.
And that's where it comes down to the overthinking.
So there's too much hype.
And anxiety, right? Because you might get anxious, and then you're like, you know what, I'll just come back to it. And then you leave that question, and then somehow you're working on calculations, and instead of within 3 minutes, it takes you like 10 minutes to do a calculation, and then you don't come back to that layup question at all. That's why I said it's best to just answer a question and then just mark it with a tab and say, hey, come back to it. Now, hopefully you don't do that for all 60 questions, but definitely, say you can come back to that question. Okay, so using the signals, the 2022 signals that were provided, I gave you guys. What's the total salary of Tyler Batty? Did Reggie, Tony? Did you? Not Tony, but Reggie, Johnny. Did you guys finish? I know I got Darrow's.
Yeah, I finished it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I got it correct. I did answer the question, but I'm not sure if I got it correct.
Let me see what you got.
I got 3.660.
Reggie, what you got?
I got C. I got 38,34,616.
Exactly. Okay, good. So the answer is C, $3,834,616. Reggie, can you let Johnny know how you got that? Well, what did you add? Because that's all it is what you added.
Well, I didn't add anything. I actually took it. Let me go to that. Let me go to him. I actually just took it right off of the signals.
And what does it say, Johnny?
Yeah, it says Tyler Beatty or actual comp 3.834 616. But what I did, I don't know why I did this. I took that as salary. And so what I did was I took that number and then I took the signing bonus of 175 of 174,616. So I minus the signing bonus from
Absolutely. So Tony, and again, I know you see that, but this is what we're talking about as far as like what Johnny just did. You might seem like a layup. Reggie saw it as a layup. He said, "Well, damn, it says it right there. Total compensation." So
now, I was confused because I was like, I saw the max possible, but I said, I always read too far in these questions. It say total, so I'm gonna go with the total.
Right. So again, and that's again. So if you saw this question on the exam, this is going to be your 20-second question. So now you got an extra 2-3 minutes on somewhere else. But the total compensation is that column that you're looking at signals, Johnny. So again, remember I told you when they have again, when you get hopefully when you get the signals and they go over the signals questions in the seminar, again, they're just trying to make sure that you can read the draftee signals.
So the draftee signals are the allocations or allotments per rookie for the entire draft?
Per pick, yes, per each pick and each round.
And they're gonna give us like one round to navigate.
Yes, right.
Okay.
And then and again, the other questions that'll come up is guy was drafted in the 5th round, pick number 182, and he was on the team for X amount of weeks. He got injured. What's his salary cap hit for his 3rd year? And again, you have to go back to signals and see if there's a full split, which means it's going to have a Y that says full split. And a full split just means the up amount and down amount. And when he's injured, not on the active list, that's that down amount. You dig what I'm saying?
But that's interesting, though, that they have that after, like towards the end before the exam. It's kind of like a crazy.
Yeah. So does that make sense, Johnny? You see the quickness of it?
Yes. So just to reiterate, so the total salary equals the actual compensation is the same exact thing, correct?
Yes. And again, if you were calculating that, so this was for you, Johnny, you may put a star. I don't know if it's a star or a question mark by it, but this is one that you would come back to so that you want to look at if you had extra time to calculate. And be like, okay,
so
let me
calculate. Walk us through the calculation of that. So how would you calculate that again?
I don't even know if let's see if I can show. Yeah, I can't show this tab on here. If you are looking at that 3rd page of the signals, see the signals round 6, pick 18.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here it is. Okay. So that 366 that Johnny was talking about, 366 zeros, darn it, 366 000 is at 3,660,000. Now that 3 million is now that P that is, let me see what it is, 22, 23, 24, and 25. And you guys remember how to look at that on that page 171, Article 26, how that goes down in a diagonal, okay? Because it's based on credited seasons. So in year one of his first credited season is 705. Then it goes to 870, 985, 1.1 million, 1.1 million. All that added up is at 36660. And then that is going to be added with the 174 616, and that's where you see what I'm saying, and that's where you get the 3,834 616.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? So that's your backup to confirm your answer. If you did that, you know what I'm saying? You see what I mean, Johnny? So you would look at it and say, okay, what's the total compensation? Oh, well, I look at this column here. There's max comp, and then there's total comp. Okay, the max comp says, total comp says 3,834,616. So that's what you would write down.
Right.
And then you're like, let me look and make sure. I'll just come back to it. And then if you get a chance to come back to it, you add the P5 salary plus the signing bonus, and that you should get the same number.
If you add them all up, you get 3,834,616.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So again, on the exam, and I can't say this enough, the NFLPA wants representation. They want agents. These guys need help. Then again, they're not trying to trick you. They just want to make sure you can understand, read, identify, and eventually, again, calculate. And there was a little, sometimes it doesn't work. There is a little trick. If you've never heard it before, if you do if you do the rookie pool number, you know what I'm saying? But again, it doesn't always work because 748 654 times 5.5 is 597, not 600.
And because I went that route first and it didn't come out right, so I was like,
right. So I'm telling you, as you can see and tell right now, I would not do that a lot. I wouldn't do it at all. But for you guys, if you can, just avoid doing that. Just go ahead and do the whole straight calculation. Okay. All right.
I take that back. So to get the max compensation is what I was told. To get the max compensation, you could take the rookie pool number times the 5.5, and that gives you the max compensation number. And I just did that, and that's what it gave me.
So you're telling me, because math don't lie, you're telling me that 748 654 times 5.5 came out to 4,117,600?
Yep.
You sure?
Positive. Well, not totally 600. They gave me like 597. I mean, it wasn't right. Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about. Especially as important as the exam is, I would not leave it to chance for a question that wasn't the exact amount of money. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah,
facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because that little roundup. Because remember, it was a week or two ago. Remember, Tony, we were talking about. We had. I think we had divided like 600,000 up to get how much a guy got per week, and it was like 20,833.
Yeah,
that the straight dollars. Or if you added 20,833.33, then you got the exact number. You remember that? Yep. I think it's the one that was you. So yeah. So
we were talking about high noons,
right? You know what I'm saying? So I would basically, again, math don't lie. I would go on the exact dollar and cent amount, as opposed to thinking that, okay, maybe that's right, even though it says 597 and that says 600. You see what I'm saying? I would rather you guys be exact on the exam than to be guessing that that's right, because mess around and Athelia and them, they may have gave you a number and said 4,117,597 or 4,117,600 or 8,025. You know what I'm saying? And you were like, oh well, I'm gonna go with the 597. Like, no, that's wrong. You see what I mean? So I would venture, again, making sure, and again, that 5.5 is a hack if I've ever seen one. It's not for you to just guess right now. You dig what I'm saying? You hear me, Reggie? You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
But hey, but again, that's me, in my opinion. I know I heard Johnny say yes. That's exactly right. So, but it's up to you to do what you got to do. Okay. All right. So let's move on, because we definitely got to get to the draft simulation today. All right. Russell Crowe receiving a signing bonus of 132,012 when he signed with the Houston Texans in 2022. Man, I didn't do that on purpose, but when he was drafted in the 6th round, his rookie pool number was 783,003. The Texans were at 87% of their team salary cap before deciding to release Crowe. What is the Texans cap hit in 2023 of Crowe's P5 NFL player contract? Now, where do you start with this?
So I did what you said last week. I read every sentence and I stopped at the periods, and then I actually underlined, I think, the things that I thought were important. So like the signing bonus, I felt like that was important. The drafted round was also important, and the rookie pool number of the 738,003 was important.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did, I actually just went to the signals and I found a rookie pool number for that. I divided the signing bonus by 4 because it was a drafted player, so I know it's a 4-year contract.
Right.
I ended up with 33,003 per year.
Yeah.
And then we went to the paragraph 5 salary for 2023. Yep. And I added that plus the prorated signing bonus, and I got 903,003.
Absolutely. So again, with the fact patterns that are in there, with what you already should know by then, is really looking at the salary for that year, looking at that year, and making sure you are equating the right salary for it. And then again, the 6th round, that was just fluff and stuff. That didn't matter, because the important thing was a rookie pool number, right? Mm-hmm. And then of course, and then again the P5 salary and all that stuff for that year. So that's where it comes into play. Again, saying like it is, it's not about tricking you, but it's making sure, like, if this part is for the most part, the hardest part of doing anything, the exam with less verbiage is going to be easy, because it's going to be quicker for you to read and then easy for you to go to your calculations. Because now
what's the importance of the rookie pool number in this question? Because don't you prorate the 4 years and add that to the P5?
Yes. So again, the rookie pool number is going to help you identify. So what Reggie did, same thing. The rookie pool number is associated with your draftee signals. Okay, every single pick gets a rookie pool number. If it talks about it and you see it on, again, this is because this week was about the source documents of the draftee signals. Right. If you see that on there, now you can read that whole line item. But it starts from left to right. It starts with that rookie pool number after the date signed.
Well, would I be in the wrong then if I just looked for the 6th round pick, Russell Crowe, and I did the proration and I just added that to the P5 because the P5's in there?
Yeah, if that person's name was on there, or if those dollar numbers were on there. Remember, the names may be different, but it just depends on what's on the question.
Okay.
Yeah, hey Tony, it took me 30 minutes to try to find Russell Crowe, and I was like, oh hell, here go man with these guys on there, these caption names again. So,
Hey,
So
and
real,
again, my point was to make sure y'all could be like, you know what? Let me look at these line items. Okay, I'm looking at these. You know what I'm saying? Because I want you guys to actually be over prepared. And that again, that was a great question, Tony. And again, it's all about understanding how the P5 salaries work on the signals page, and understanding the credited seasons.
I have a question. RJ,
Yeah,
can you walk through? I'm on the signals right now. I'm on the round 6. I found a rookie pool number of the 738,003, right? Like let's say I don't know, Darion Kendrick, right? So then I go to the signing bonus, which is 132,012, right? So are you saying you divided that by 4, the signing bonus, and then I got lost. What happened next?
all right, so yeah, I went. So I prorated the signing bonus, and then again, like I said, I went to the signals to find the rookie pool number. I'm trying to find it as we speak. But what I did was from that rookie pool number, I just looked at the so just for instance, for the sake of this, look at you can look at let's look at Curtis Brooks. 6th round, pick 38.
Pick 38.
What
6th
number?
round, pick 38.
Okay, I see him.
So what I did, I identified the rookie pool number, right? So from there, and I looked at the signing bonus. I said, okay, so rookie pool number looks good, signing bonus looked good. So then I went to 2023. So at 2023, I saw the pair salary was 870. So I added 870 plus the prorate, and so that signing bonus again, because he was drafted, so we know we got a 4-year proration. So 132,012 divided by 4 years is going to give you the 33,003. And I added that to the paragraph 5 salary of 870.
But if it's just the 4th round pick in that year, can't we just find that P5 in the minimum salaries and add the proration?
But if you don't know the signing bonus, you won't be able to do that.
Correct, but the signing bonus isn't the question right here.
Well, and the reason I say that, Tony, because if you look at round 6, or round 6, pick 29, even though it was round 6, if you look at the rookie pool number and the signing bonus, they're different. And so for me, again, I just wanted to associate.
Agreed. I'm just saying I'm trying to eliminate steps, because don't we already know the minimum salary for the drafted rookie?
Yes,
Well,
if you went to the if you went to the article 26, you would.
Right. So I mean, I can do that. I can navigate that way, right?
Right, because that would be one of your first things, is because what you don't see on the page is that.
Right. I'm saying I'm just reading this question. It says that he got drafted 6th round, and then all of a sudden 2023, I'm like, all right, minimum salary, he's got 0 credited season. The minimum salary is going to be 840.
870.
Or 870. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. And again, those are the 2 different ways that you would navigate that.
Okay.
Tony. Yeah.
Perfect.
And that would definitely be quicker, Tony. I see what you're saying. So you just go to the CBA, go to Article 26, find out the P5 salary. You already know it's a pro. You know the signing bonus already, because that's given in the fact pattern. divide that by
Mhm.
4 and just add it to that P5. Yeah, that makes sense versus trying to identify it on the signals. Absolutely. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
Because that 87% of the team salary cap didn't matter at all. That had nothing to do with nothing.
That's just
And
Mr.
then
Frank playing with us.
right. That being released, you know what I'm saying? That didn't really have nothing to do with it, because the question is, what's the Texans salary cap hit in 2023?
Mhm.
And again, for this question, I didn't say anything about he was released after June 1st or before June 1st and March, April, whatever. So none of that stuff mattered anyway. It was all about what is going to be the salary cap hit for 2023. So yeah, so those are so Reggie found it his way. Tony, you can find it your way, as long as you get to the answer, which is at 903.
Tony,
I was just making sure.
Tony, I got a question for you. I just calculated what RJ went through while you guys were talking. Can you go through your way how you came up with it on CBA?
Yeah, all I did was I read the question. I see the question because I haven't got to take the quiz yet. So I already knew the signing bonus is prorated for the 4-year, like the 6th round, as Reggie said. And then I was like, what's the minimum salary for 2023? So I just went to the Article 26 to find that minimum salary, and that's how I added it.
Wait, how did you come up with the signing bonus?
Proration.
It's in the question.
Yep,
Wait,
the 132 is in the
oh,
question.
yeah. I'm tripping. Okay, got it.
You see what I'm saying? And then you
Yes.
know he was drafted, you know what I'm saying, in 2022. So that's year
Right.
one. His
He's at
second
0.
year, 23. You dig what I'm saying? So now you're moving diagonally down the 26, Article 26.
Yep.
You see that there, Johnny?
Yes, I see it. I just like me, I gotta write everything, those steps down for me to get
Absolutely.
clarity.
Yeah,
and then I understand it.
Yeah, and then again with the quizzes, same thing on the exam. Man, you should be, every time you read something, you know what I'm saying, like you're doing, Reggie, write that down. You know what I'm saying? He was drafted, or he got signing bonus, write down 132,012. Okay, he was drafted, you know what I'm saying, in 2022. So now I know drafted, so I can write 2022, 2023, 24, 25. You see what I'm saying? And then you just start plugging and playing all that, you know what I'm saying, the P5 salary. And then you can divide that signing bonus up. I mean, you're gonna write you may write just as fast as you read anyway. It might take you like 3 seconds to write all that. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. Which of the following statements is true? On the practice squad, every player is locked in on the roster throughout the season once they make the team on September 1st, unless another team wants a practice player from another team. B, when negotiating a practice squad player contract, good language is to get a full guarantee, including a workout bonus and roster bonus. C, only 19 practice squad players are permitted per team under contract, including 4 veterans with 10 plus credited seasons. D, practice squad players receive a meal stipend per day per game when the team is on the road. E, once a player is on the practice squad, this should say practice squad, then they can only practice for 3 seasons.
A.
Well, by system of elimination,
Hey.
Yes.
all your other answers, I mean, all the answers, I was like, I'm not sure, but I know B, C, D, and E were horrible. I was like, 19, I know that's not it. I said, he
16,
made
correct?
that one pretty easy.
Yes, Tony. Yep, absolutely. Yep. And what else?
and then
What about B? Tell me about B.
I was torn with B a little bit because of good language, but I figure a practice player doesn't get any kind of guarantees.
Yeah, they don't.
Exactly. It ain't. You shouldn't have been. There should have been nothing about nothing. You should have known that. Wait, practice squad, workout bonus, roster bonus. They don't get none of that. So that's out. You dig what I'm saying? So, all right. What about D?
They do receive stipends, but it's lunch and dinner and breakfast. They get all 3.
Right.
Well, the thing that threw me out on that one was it says the practice squad players receive because the practice squad, do they travel? Because again, this was kind of before my reading.
No, they don't travel. Yeah,
they don't
right,
travel.
they don't.
So I'm like, why would they get a meal when the other team is on the road?
Right.
Right.
See, again, like I was trying to get Tony, you know what I'm saying? When it says on the road, I know it was at the end, but so I'm saying it sounded normal in the beginning. You're like, but on the road, wait a minute, they don't draft.
Exactly. Y'all at the house, you on your own.
You know what I'm saying? They're not coming to Brazil when the Eagles go to Brazil. But I think they may take to the Brazil though. But anyway, so again, just make sure you're reading those things. So the answer again is A. On the practice squad, every player is locked in on the roster throughout the season once they make the team on September 1st, unless another team wants a player from a practice player from another team. So yes, that was that answer correct.
I was actually stuck between A and what was it? Can you go back, please? A and E, because I eliminated, I actually went through all my materials and read on practice squad because I was like, all right, let me make sure that I'm eliminating the correct ones. And then my last final one is between A and E. And then I was like, wait a minute, I know the practice squad, they can't be on the practice squad for there's a limit of how many seasons they can be on the practice squad. So I was like, that E might be it. And I'm just going through it. I was going through it, and then I was like, nah, A looks like, A just kept popping up, everything I was reading. And then I just, but even though I really couldn't find the actual answer on there, but it just kind of like alluded to A. And I was like,
Is there?
Yeah, in your practice squad joint, but you already know the answer though to that. How many seasons can a guy be on the practice squad?
Was it? I thought it was. Is it 3? It is 3, isn't it?
2.
2.
Yes, 2.
It's 2. So if you look at that article, what is it? 33 is the practice squad. They can be on there for 2 seasons.
Yes. Okay.
So then that's top 51, right? So
Right.
first day, it goes from 90 to 53.
Yes.
High noon.
Yep.
Yeah. And then 16 players on the practice squad.
Yes, and 16 players practice squad. And again, that's max. So if there's 4 veterans that have 10 plus seasons, that's not true because how many veterans can it be?
2.
2, right. It's 2 veterans, no matter how many credit seasons they have, can be on the practice squad.
Yeah.
But again, that's just so you know. I don't think they're gonna get that deep into it. But again, as far as questions, options, you can eliminate that if you see that as 4 veterans.
Yeah, I think there was RJ. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think there was 2 practice squad questions on the exam.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Right. But again, you got to remember what they're asking about that practice squad question compared to the salary information question. Because remember, there's only 2 questions on salary information, and that's from the draftee signals, the club information, the screenshot. There's only 2 questions on the exam for that section. One of those is definitely going to be on the signals. The other one is going to be on one of the screenshots, like submitting the SRA. So even though that question is here, and again, the practice squad questions could come up as a part of the CBA questions, the 39. You know what I'm saying?
So we got 56 left. Keep it going.
Right. Exactly. Okay, does everybody make sense on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Contract advisor of the 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa is preparing to renegotiate his client's contract on June 2nd, 2023. Which of the following NFLPA reports is most relevant in determining how much salary cap room the 49ers have?
D.
All right.
Team
Right.
salary report, top 51.
Right. Okay. So that's a team salary report.
Yeah, this is one of the ones I remember.
Initially I thought it was the league cap report.
Can you go back for a second?
Yep. You mean to this one or the report?
Yeah, this one, June 2nd. So June 2nd, the designation, that doesn't matter right now.
No,
it's just the verbiage.
Right.
So then team salary report, full roster.
Right. And again, I'm giving you a heads up on these questions. You're going to get it in the seminar. They're going to tell you about this in the seminar because they'll tell you about all the reports that you got to. I mean, the seminar is a lot for those few days.
Oh, man.
But this one looks like it's easy too.
Yeah. So yeah, the seminar is a lot. But you know what I'm saying, they're going to give you a lot more report, but the main report that they're going to have a question on the exam is this one right here.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's team salary report top 51, not full roster, right?
Right. Exactly. Because why?
Yeah. Well, because Tony just said full roster. Well, I was like, wait a minute.
Because why though? Because we're doing what? What are we doing with Nick's contract?
Renegotiating.
Negotiate.
There you go. Renegotiating.
Got it.
Okay. All right.
So when would it be team salary full roster report?
Well, if you get a question, so if they were not renegotiating and they were actually negotiating and they wanted to see what other rosters were doing, like so, say they wanted to see what the Philadelphia Eagles were doing. Well, let's look at their full roster and see what they're paying all their defensive ends.
Gotcha. So the key word in this is renegotiating.
Right.
And salary cap.
Because remember, they already negotiated. Now we're renegotiating. So renegotiating means that. So Nick was like, "Hey, you know what, man? I'm out here killing everybody. Like, I know I gotta be better than half of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, let me check for you. So as an agent, let me check for you. Oh, wow, yeah, you are, Nick. All right, let me go ahead and see if I can. Now, if you see that June 2nd joint, so let's say he negotiated in March of 2023, would he be able to renegotiate on June 2nd?
No.
Isn't that the 12-month?
Right. There you go. See what I'm saying? So these are things in your mind. Now you got to recall and remember that, right? So if he renegotiates on the 23rd, and if that question said, okay, well, when did he negotiate his contract? You'd be like, shoot. If the answer was May of 2022, then you'd be cool. You see what I'm saying? And again, these are just things that you know from knowing that he needs to wait 12 months to renegotiate after negotiating.
Got it.
Okay. All right. So this so revenue generated from gambling is included in the computation of the NFL team salary cap. What amount is true for gambling revenue received from online gambling? What do you got?
Got that one wrong too. But I know the correct answer is B now.
So you saw right, exactly. So when you're reading the CBA, it tells you on there for if it's in the stadium, it's 50%. If it's anything that's outside of the stadium, it's 33%.
That's a
You see what I'm
certainty.
saying?
That's a certainty.
Oh yes, that's what. Yeah, that's in the CBA.
Yeah. And see, I was thinking, because I was in my mind, I was thinking location, like inside the stadium, like a physical location. So inside the stadium, you get 50%. If you're down the street, you get 33%. But I figure if you were online, it was 100%.
But what does it say as far as outside the stadium?
But it was saying like down the street, it was giving like physical locations. It didn't, because I could never find anything that specifically talked about like online gambling and
right. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like off-track betting, you know what I'm saying? They have them off-track betting places that they have. And then those are down the street type of things. However, but you can also do that joint online, right? And that's why I threw in the little smartphone app thing too, just to see if it'll throw you off between online.
Yeah. Where can I I was trying to look for this and I couldn't find it. I do remember there being 2 gambling questions as well on the exam, but where can I find this information for gambling?
Reggie, do you see that? You see that in yours? I believe it's under the salary cap accounting rules.
Yeah. It's like Article 12 and 13.
Yeah, under the salary cap accounting rules.
There's a section where it talks about it, and I want to say either 12 or 13. I know it's either 12 or 13.
Okay.
But yeah, that iPhone is definitely what threw me off for sure. You got me on that one.
And how does it work with agents with gambling? Because I know the players, if they're associated like at the place during league time, they're fined or suspended. But if it's on a bye week and they're, in a, sports bookie or whatever, they just can't be gambling on football, correct?
Right. So, and again, also, yes, as an agent, that answer is yes. They can't be gambling on football for one. But I always tell guys, for real, if you're addicted, that's another thing. But just don't do it. Like stay away from it.
Just stay away. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really unfortunate to say this, like alcohol and legalized weed. I just tell you, hey, just don't do it. Like if you don't do it, and you're gonna keep your millions of dollars a week. You understand? Like, bro, you're making $3 million a week. You really want to ask me a question on if you should smoke weed because it's legal here? Man, I can't get in trouble for that. Bro, what are you talking about? Don't do it. They might drug test you because they hearing you right now. Stop talking about it. Don't do it and collect your $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to tell guys that a lot. Especially guys that are coming out of college doing it. Okay. Number 7. Eugene Parker drafted in the 2022 NFL draft, receives an offer to sign with the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers did not make the 2022 NFL playoffs. During the 2024 offseason, Parker only participates in 3 of the 4 scheduled OTAs that were 4 days long. What amount is Parker's offseason bonus amount?
That was a good one too. That's off-season workout. That's Article 21. Mm-hmm. And so what you had to do was go to, I guess, the league pay. And I know for each league year, there was a different amount. And so for the 24-25 season, it's $314 per day. Mm-hmm. And then so when you look at, again, I had to stop at the period and read the sentences. It says, he only participated in 3 out of the 4 sessions, and each session was 4 days. And so I did 314 times 4 days times 3 weeks. And if you multiply that, that gives you 3,768.
3,780.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 3,780. I don't know where I got this.
Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks times 4 days. That's 12. 12 days times that'll give you, that's where you get the 370. So, and again, for the exam, you're just gonna have to quickly, because this you're not gonna be able to have a cheat sheet for all of these numbers. But for the exam, you just need to know to flip to that page on off-season workout, and I find immediately. You might want to highlight it in your CBA if you guys, I don't know if you know electronic or paper, but you might want to highlight those years so that you can go right to those years and look at that question for 24, 25. It's one amount. For 26, 7, it may be a totally different amount.
So on this exam, and that's what I was kind of thinking too, because I've already programmed 314 in my brain. But do you think they would use like the 24 year? You think they'll go back into like a 21 or 22 year?
Oh yeah. They're definitely going to ask you a different year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a different year. It ain't going to be the this 24-25 season, or they're not going to be the 2023. They're going to ask you one of those. They're going to ask you like another different year, because the purpose of it is for you to be able to find and calculate.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And again, what you're calculating is the off-season bonus amount.
Gotcha.
Okay, what is the definition of an accrued season? A, player was on the active roster for 4 games, injured in week 5 through week 15, plays only in the final game of the regular season. Then the team does not make the playoffs. B, player plays in the first game of the season and was injured and was placed on IR for the rest of the season. See, the player was on the practice squad for 13 weeks. And his
Hey,
eligible-
let's go back. Let's go back for a second.
yeah.
My
Backwards to the last question or just-
to the last question, off-season workout.
Uh-huh.
It is 314 for the 24-25 year, right?
Let me flip back to my CBA online. It's in that top. It's in the top right. That I do know. I'm not gonna.
What page are you looking at?
Yeah, I just did my math again, and I'm getting 3768.
That's what I got too on my first one. What page are you guys on?
So that's Article 21. Hold on. Article 21.
This is 26. These are the
146.
yeah.
So yeah, on
That's
if
other.
you go to page
So
I don't know, it's my page 149, section 3 payments for the 20
section 3 payments 2024 315.
Never mind.
315.
Yeah, 315.
Yeah, I got dyslexia. I don't know how I got 314. Yeah, it's 350.
So right. So again, just like what I'm saying, what Reggie was just going through right there. But you see how you guys? Oh, let me see something. Can you guys see my screen here?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you switch to this payment here, you see how it's chopped up in different numbers here, right? This is what I was saying earlier. They're probably not going to ask you about this year. They might ask you about last year, right? So 2023, you'll know it's 295. Or they say, okay, future payments. They might say in 2028, 29, blah blah blah. Then you'll know you need to know that it's 365. You see what I'm saying? So definitely be able to in your CBA. Again, I would highlight this section 3 payment, and then the side, I would put like a little star or something right here. Put a star on this side over here, and if you have tabs, I would put a side tab on that side for off-season bonus or off-season payments. That way you can flip right to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you now you got it though, there, Tony, right? You understand that?
Yeah, now that was me. I don't know how I got 314 out of 315. But yeah, we're good.
You quick with it, man. You quick with the real fast draw. All right, let's see here. Okay. All right, so let's go back to finish up this last two here. Where's my presenter view? Here it is. Okay. Nope. Yeah, we are on this one here. Oh, and it's already on there. So we got that one. Kevin Hart, running back, drafted in the first round of 22 NFL draft. He decides to play at a different position at wide receiver. His agent negotiates his rookie contract based on receiving a $20 million signing bonus. What is the total compensation for 2024?
All right, I'm gonna need some help with this one because
Lies, you tell.
First round.
So I chose C, 5,985,000 because I figured you're talking about total compensation, it would be the signing bonus plus the P5 for that year.
That's what I put. C 5.985, and I got it wrong.
Yeah, me too.
Let me ask you guys something. You see the year that he was drafted, right?
Yes.
Remember, look at the question. What is the total compensation for 2024? So in 2022, how much was the signing bonus?
20 million.
When did he get his 20 million?
2022.
Right. He already got his 20 million.
Correct. And then it's the 3 years.
So
The
if you
base,
go
the base salary of 2022.
right. So what do you go for 2024? What is his P5 salary for 2024?
795 or no?
985.
Right.
985.
B 985. Again, the question was, what is the total compensation? Not what is. Again, this is what it's for. Just so you guys know, it doesn't say what is this salary cap hit. Doesn't say what is this salary cap hit for that year.
So
it's saying what is this compensation?
So
he already got compensated in 2022 to 20 million. They get that up front. It's only prorated. Just keep in mind, it's only prorated for salary cap purposes.
Gotcha.
So when we do the team salary cap in 2024, we know a part of that is going to be the 5 million.
So 20.
So
that's
then,
not 23. So 23 would be 870.
Right, and that's because that's that second season exactly.
So we're assuming that he's achieving and satisfying accredited seasons per season.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So and again, just like we did in the earlier questions about writing stuff down, man, right now 2022, because if he was drafted in the first round, how many years is his contract?
4 years.
4 and
a possible option year.
Right, 4 and a 1. So it's 4 years plus 1. So you're going to write 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. And then that's your 4. And then you're going to look at the credited seasons and you're going to go down from there. And when you get to 2024, it's 985,000 is what his compensation is going to be, divided up by 36, and that's what his weekly pay is going to be. But again, in this question, we're only asking about total compensation.
So total compensation for 2022 would be 20,705,000.
Right. Well, 2020, yes. That's the 20 million, and then plus his P5 for that year 1.
So the biggest buzzwords then, total compensation is what the player earns. Proration is going to be what's guaranteed with the signing bonus if it's skill, injury, and cap, and then total cap.
Yes, if there was a question about that.
Okay.
So got you. So go back to Tony's question. That was a great question, Tony. I like how you play the other scenario. So to Tony's point, if it was what is his total compensation in 2022, the answer would have been A, B, C, D.
Right.
The 20 million plus the
well, it wouldn't have been D because this is 980. That's 2985.
It'd be 20
Oh,
million.
yeah.
5.
It
would have been 20 million plus whatever that P5 for that year.
Right.
Gotcha.
So again,
705, right?
Is it safe to say then, when we get questions like this, that we are assuming that the player did earn accredited season?
Yes. Yeah. Only go by what you're reading and what it's not saying, but just go by what you're reading as far as what you're given.
But I get so tripped up. I get so tripped up if I wasn't doing this with you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And hey, man, listen. Unfortunately, and again, you guys better be 100%. But unfortunately, that's why only about 15 to 20% of people pass the exam.
Right.
You know what
Wait,
I'm saying?
last year only 15% passed?
So 22, what I was told, 22% of those people passed the exam.
22%.
Yeah.
That might be the lowest of all time.
No, I didn't ask him that, but it definitely was not the lowest because he did before they brought it up. He mentioned something about a single digit number, but that was like in like the early, this was like 2010 or something like that.
Well, I remember when I took it, when I passed in 2018, that number they said was 40%.
Yeah,
in that ballpark, 40%. That's
Yeah.
crazy. 20, would you say 22?
22% of the people passed last year out of 700 people.
I can believe it. That was the hardest test I ever took in my life.
Okay.
Coach, I don't know if I told you, I knew in my heart that I had passed. I told RJ too. I knew in my heart that I had passed the exam and only gotten 2 or 3 wrong. I was like, "There's no." So when I got the notification, I was like, "Nah, this is wrong." And I called them and I was like, "There's no way I did not pass this exam." And and they were like, "I need proof." And they're like, "Well, we can't send you, but proof." I was like, "No,
I know.
I said, "You're gonna have to send me proof because I know I passed this exam." And I guess multiple people called or whatever, but I was just kind of a little forceful on them showing me proof, and then they finally sent me like the breakdown or whatever.
Right.
And I gotten 45, and you needed 47 to pass.
And that's what they did. They used to give out. I don't want to say 90s because I ain't that old, but I remember they used to give out the actual scores and where your breakdown was, so that if you did fail, you could at least know what you need to brush up on. You know what I'm saying? They used to do that. I don't know why they stopped doing that.
You have to get 70% like per section.
No, it's a scale score.
That's what I'm saying though, because you get 39 at the CBA, and say you get 39, but you miss your two. As Johnny's situation, you missed the exam.
Yeah, but they don't score like that. It's based
they score. It's weighted on so let's say for example they broke it down and they said, let's say those long salary cap questions where you got to do an actual computation. Those are more weighted than the layup question, and so they won't divulge how or what that weighted question is worth. They won't divulge that, but they say if you answered a one of those complex questions correctly, it's weighted more than the one that you got correct, but it was kind of like an easier question.
Right.
From what they explained to us. Yeah. So it kind of like last year when we had this conversation with RJ, we said, it like really behooves you to really get these complex questions correct, because they're weighted more. So if you're struggling on like a salary cap type question, focus on getting that understanding the concept so you can get that question correct.
Makes sense. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're right. Exactly. All right. So let me get to this here. We're really coming down from the rooter to the tutor.
Now this last question threw me for a loop. There's no way I.
Boy, you crazy. I might do that. I'm saying for the next few weeks. Try to throw a little ethical joint in there too. But
you're gonna really have to explain this one to me, because
Joshua Tree is drafted in the 5th round of the 2023 NFL draft. He signed his contract in May of 2023 and received a $500,000 signing bonus. He participates in the team's rookie minicamp, tears his ACL in his knee. He then decides to just retire. What's the first thing you tell your client?
This is real.
Don't worry. You can come back from this easy. B, I'm sorry. You're going through a difficult time. But if you don't play, you don't get paid. C, why are you retiring when you have so much football life ahead of you so I can get paid? Or D, I'm here for you in every single way to do what I can. Or E, I know times are rough, but I have other clients, man. I'll holler at you later.
But you know what? Some people who don't have self-awareness or their shit together would get this wrong.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Now, there again, it's not. It doesn't look like this, but there is, and that I'm told, and I did not know.
Oh yeah,
this,
no, there is one on the test, they for sure.
there is an ethical question on the exam.
Yeah,
about
there is.
As an agent, what would you do? And just like Johnny just talked about the weighted questions, that's one of them weighted questions. The ethical questions and the agent's regulation questions, one of those questions is a heavily weighted question because it really has to do with you and your character. Because it talks about penalties too. So, but anyway, so the answer, of course, I'm here for you in every single way to do what I can as an agent. That's the first thing you tell your client because he's going through some things. I got to help you out. Okay.
All right. So, but now again, and I guess, in terms of my real estate stuff and the years I've been doing real estate and the strong code of ethics we have, right? That could open up a whole lot of, that could like lend to, well, can you borrow me some money? Can you do something unethical, illegal? When you tell him I'm here for you in every single way to do what I can, like, so bro, you ain't getting paid. I ain't getting paid. I just bumped my knee. I need you to open up a credit card for me. I need to co-sign for a house for me. Like,
right. Yeah, and that's where the what I can comes into play. Man, I can't do that. I can do a lot of this, but I can't do that.
Well, explain to me why B wouldn't, because here's the way I took it. Like, I know you can't play, but you got injured in mini camp, so you can get like injury, like you could get PUP IR. So why not?
But see, again, what's the crucial word in this thing is he wants to retire. And again, you can Google it later on, I don't remember what the guy's name is, but there are guys that are like, you know what? I'm done with football. I don't want to go back. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like guys do it all the time, especially guys retiring at 24, 25 years old, and they just got in the league. They're like, you know what, bro, it's not even worth it. I'm cool. That happens. That does happen a lot. And Roger Goodell, he's trying to prevent it from happening. Not that he, again, they're just trying to preserve the integrity of the league itself. But they would rather guys not just retire because now it puts a moniker on these guys have options to just stop. You know what I'm saying?
And so again, like my fiduciary responsibility with my clients, like, and I'll give you a real life example. I'm dealing with a situation now with a client. We wrote a contract back in November of last year, new construction. Well, the builder's dragging his feet, my buyer's getting like real antsy. But from the time they wrote the contract to now, the value of the homes in the neighborhood and even their instant equity is over $100,000. They want to terminate the contract. And I'm like, dude, we close in 2 weeks. Ride this thing out.
Yeah, that's a business
Turn around,
thing.
put it back on the market and make you $100,000. Don't be foolish.
Right. Yeah. See, but what you're talking about, a business thing. This here is a mental thing.
Gotcha.
Remember the wide receiver boy that had the little mental issues, Brandon something. Johnny, you remember what I'm talking about? Was that Brandon Marshall?
Yeah, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was going through, he done started and quit like 2 or 3 times. It was like, man, you're suspended, go to rehab. All right, cool. Maybe
which Brandon Marshall? There was 2, remember?
Yeah. And then he came back, and then he went to a whole nother team. I think he went to the Patriots, and then he did it again. He like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do it no more. And then then I think he went out to the Broncos or something. And matter of fact, I think he did win the Super Bowl with my man.
That was Brandon Marshall, the Colin Kaepernick's line brother.
Yes, there you go. Because
from Nevada,
he played with Thingamajigger. He played with my guy, one of my clients, Capri Bibbs. Played with the Broncos there. He came out of Colorado State. But you know what I'm saying? So guys do it all the time. Mentally, they're like, you know what? I'm cool. And then again,
remember Vontae's Davis, Vernon Davis's brother, the one who just passed away.
yeah.
Vontae's, he was remember how when he retired, how he did it? He did it like like Antonio Brown. He walked off during the game and quit.
He was done. Yeah. So
Okay. Can I ask you a quick question on GLA?
Yeah, Tony, go ahead.
So for section 7, the GLA, so paragraph, it's like that 4B. When they get into that, can I get clarification just in regards to like how does that work? So they each like they have 6 players per team that can be represented by like Rolex, or is that through the NFL, or how's that like? What's the? I'm just confused on that.
No, yeah, when we get to that, we'll talk about more. But basically, it's not one team. It's like in totality, in any of the 6 players of the 1,600 players, if they have 6 times or they have 6 players that they're getting. Then they have to, yes, exactly, in that same year. So, and that's period. Now they have to get a group licensing.
So it could be 6 quarterbacks then? Like it could be one on the Raiders, one on the Packers.
Yep, right. It can be, yeah. And that happens too. Matter of fact, the daggone Heisman people, I mean, they're all different. But when they do the all Heisman thing with Nissan, those are sometimes if they use those same players that are playing, they got to get a hit for that. They got to get a group licensing agreement.
But they can only do 6 at a time.
Right. Can't do 8. Can't do 7.
So
if
for
they do
that,
1, they're
so
cool.
for the Heisman, they don't have 6 per year.
Right. Yes. And again, we get to that. We'll talk about that a little bit in detail too. But yeah, if they do 1 or 2, that's totally fine. They don't need a group license. But when they do 6, it's a wrap.
And then suspensions, those are forfeitable salary as a breach.
Yes, but typically what happens is it's again we get to double-sided. They got to pay it, and then they can appeal it, but they still got to pay it.
And then I just have questions from the reading. That's why. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
article. So I hope this helps RJ and Johnny as well. I apologize if it doesn't, but for the unrestricted, so the veteran free agency. So when we get into that period. That's the 22 days before the start of the league year, and then 8 days to the league year for that framework for like that actual free agency.
You talking about Article 27?
Article 9.
You talking Article 9? You talking about Article 9? Okay. And say it one more time.
So the 22 days for league year, and then 8 days before league year. For the negotiation, so it gets into the exclusive rights, unrestricted, restricted.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Yep.
And then my question was that 2-day negotiating period. What is that? If there's that time frame of the 22 and 8.
Yeah. So what's happening is typically at that time, it's building up to that day. Right. So you're already as an agent, you would already be talking to your guys or talking to the team by then, but they're going to give you that window to get it done. And if you don't get it done, typically the NFLPA will step in. That's basically what
the arbitration. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, it's not so much arbitration. It's just the NFLPA will step in and say, hey, how can we help facilitate this? Because we want to get this done. If it goes past the second day. They give you up to those 22 days, but 23 before. But again, this is only for veterans. Because what makes you a veteran?
The 4 accrued seasons.
Well, yes. And then, of course, going through a second contract.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So you're basically in your second contract already anyway. So they want to try to get it done.
And that's when it gets into the qualifying offers for like the 3 accrued or less for the restricted free agents?
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm just trying to catch up to RJ and Johnny here.
Okay. No, you're good.
You're way ahead of me, bud.
And then one more question for the training camps.
Okay.
So when we get into that, the max is going to be that 5-day, but if it continues into the regular season, it's 25% by 4th week, and it turns into the 1/17th since there's only 17 games and 18th is a bye week.
Well, no, it includes the 18 because it's only 17 games, but the bye week is included. So those paychecks are divided up by 18. Well, as far as purposes of the actual dollar amount, but the pay period is 36.
So then, okay, so then regular season, if they miss 25% 4 consecutive, it goes to the 118th.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So it's not 36. It's just the 118th.
Okay.
So again, just remember those differences between pay periods and pay checks, right? So it's really the pay checks that they're getting is 1/18 of their paychecks, but with the pay period when they're getting their money is 36 weeks. Okay. Don't let that.
Coach,
Do you have some questions of that coming up, like that difference when we do those numbers?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
And you'll
Coach,
see it. You'll see it in your exam too. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question, and this is going back to last week. And I know me and you've been texting regarding question 4, and I still just couldn't computate question 4 from last week, week 3. I understand how you remember the answer was 600,000 not likely to be earned. I understand how they came up with the answer is 150,000 for Pro Bowl incentives. That I understand. I understand the 200,000 for interceptions for that are not likely to be earned. What I just couldn't the 250K for playtime incentives. I don't understand because in 2020 he in 20 is this the question right here? Oh no. In 2020 he performed 62 point, I believe is I'm going off the top of my head, 62.5%.
But it's the previous year. It's the previous year though, remember, Johnny? Not the 2020 for the likely and non-likely.
Yeah, Johnny,
look, it says his average play time for 2018 through 2020 was 62.5.
Yeah, but this play time was at 65, not before. So this was more. Now, if it was, remember, I thought I said that to you, but maybe I didn't. But if it was 61% as far as in 2021. Well, then that would have been likely to be earned if it was 61%. So 2018 to 2020 was 62.5, right?
Correct.
So that's 1,875 plays. However, when it goes down to the 2021, when he signed that deal, it's 65% of his play time. Defensive play time.
Right. Okay,
so
correct.
That's more than 60.
Yes, you're right.
So that's not likely.
Okay, right. So then, but why doesn't the following threshold get of 75%? You understand, and 75% or more defensive play time. Why isn't that added into the threshold?
For not likely to be, well, again, there are also incentives 150,000, right? So I'm doing the wrong one. So if I scrolled up, said that fat pattern there says 2021 250,000 45%. That's within 75%. Then there was the 65% or more defensive playtime and 75% or more defensive playtime. No, they do both. Of 75%, so it's in between that range. Well, we're talking about before in 2020, he only did 62.
Correct.
2020, no, he had 740. So he had 74. He had 74% in 2020.
Oh,
740 of 1,000 defensive plays. So he played 74% of the time. So the not likely to be earned would be the 75%, which is 250, only a one-time increment, not two.
Got it. Okay.
You see what he's saying there?
Yeah. I got it now. Thank you.
He snuck that in there last minute, 740 versus this percent.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's it.
And that's why that breakdown, again, those are the only 3 things that are included for not likely to be earned.
Got it.
If you're
Okay.
going off 2018, you'd be correct. Yeah, Johnny.
Okay. Thank you.
Good. All right. So now this is gonna be this is the fun part. We're about to have a little fun and take I don't want to say a brain break, but it's definitely gonna take this is gonna be a fun break. It's gonna be some fun work. So now you about to do some work as a general manager. Okay. You are good. So this week's assignment is for you to be your own general manager, and you're gonna pick your team. And I need to write it. I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm not gonna write it now because we're gonna do the golf. We're gonna do the golf thing.
This is a compensatory draft, right? An expansion team.
No, this is direct. You are the new Adam Peters for the daggone Washington Commanders.
Man, all my guys are retiring.
Man, you know what? We're gonna do a gentleman's agreement. So all you guys gotta do, matter of fact, tell me who your favorite team is. Who's your favorite team, Tony?
Man, the players I represent.
Who's your favorite NFL team?
Let's do Titans.
Okay, all right, good. So Sunday got the Titans. Reggie, who's your favorite NFL team?
Unfortunately, the Cowboys.
Man, first of all, let me stop laughing. I don't know why people hate the Cowboys. I do not hate the Cowboys. One, my boy Gary Brown was a running back coach before he passed away a few years ago, and one of my kids that I trained, Sharif Floyd, was a defensive lineman. Now was Cowboys for like 4 years. Now he's defensive line coach for the Washington Commanders. So Cowboys is cool in my book. Plus, Jerry Jones is a cool dude. I just met him again. I said again because it was a long time ago at the combine this past weekend. But the Cowboys, man, they ain't won a playoff game since Eisenhower, ain't it, Johnny? It's like
feels like it. Until we get another quarterback, we won't.
You know what I'm saying? The Cowboy. Okay, Johnny, who's your favorite team?
Miami Dolphins, fins up.
In the air, there you go. That's my boy, OJ McDuffie. You know what I'm saying? All right. So those are your teams. Okay. What you're gonna do for this draft simulation is this. I'm gonna tell you what it's on, but I'm gonna show you first. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you. Because that's what I really said I was going to set out to do. Where is it? It's on this whole page. Okay, so you're going to do a draft simulation. Can everybody see my page here?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to come to it's still spinning. Okay. All right. So this is the page for the NFL mock draft database. You're going to go to mock draft database. You're going to create your own account. And then you're going to click here, see where it says mock draft simulator. Now, this is going to start. This is going to start the simulator. However, before you get to there, and what you're going to do is you're going to pick your own draft picks. You are the general manager for your respective team. As you do your draft, you can do anything you want as far as trades, if you want to keep your picks that you got, or if you want to trade to get more picks. I don't care, matter. Then what you're going to do is after you get done doing all your picks, you're going to work with within a 25% of the 2024 salary cap, okay, for your draft picks. And then that's what's going to be your assignment as far as your presentation. So if you want to use the big board to review these guys, go away. Back again. There we go. So 2024, and we're using the 2024 year. Okay. So you'll see all the rankings, and you can look at quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, all the position linebackers and edge rushers. You can look at all that stuff. Review anything you want before you make your selection. Okay. And again, this is you being your own general manager. Then when it's time for you, after you make all your notes and everything, you're going to go to the mock draft simulator, click on the simulator, and then this is where you're going to pick your team. So I'm going to use Reggie's Cowboys here. So you're going to pick Cowboys 2024. So we're going to do 7 rounds of the draft. It's going to stay on pre-draft, and then we're going to make this fast for you so it's not going to take up too much time. And then agent, and then you're going to put your name. Okay, you're going to put your name in here, and then you're going to enter the draft room. Once you click on enter the draft room, now we're getting ready for the Cowboys selections, okay? Now you see here, now for this 2024, these were all the picks that the Cowboys had, okay? Because they didn't do very well, so they got a lot of picks. And then what you're gonna do, see now, right now it's set to all players, and these are all the players: quarterbacks, receivers, linebackers, linemen, kickers. That's everybody. If you want to look at only the receivers that are available, you can click on just receivers, and you can see all the receivers that are here. Okay. Same thing if you want to look at kickers. You want to look at all the kickers, you can see all those kickers that are available. When you start the draft, you may, again, if you make your own notes of who you want to pick, you may already know who you're going to pick, okay? And then again, looking at the positions over here, these are what your team needs are. Now, when it's time to get started, you're going to click on this here, up here. See where it says start? You're going to go to the top, and you're going to click on start. Just want to show you what it looks like. Now, the Cowboys, everybody's picking because you don't have a pick until 24. Right now, Cowboys are on the clock. You see where it says you have 1 trade offer. So now, with your picks, if you want to trade this pick or you want to keep this pick, it's up to you. If you want to keep this pick, you would just reject. If you want to trade this pick to the Broncos because they're the only team that offered you, then you would click on accept. And when you click on accept, and I'm going to show you, I can't because if I go out, it'll be gone. Once you have an offer, you either accept it or you don't. If you accept it, I'm just going to show you as an example. If you accept it, you traded your 24, now you don't pick until 56, but now you have a way more picks. At the top, what's happening is all those other picks are getting picked, okay? Now, if you don't want to accept this, you want to reject this, you just push on reject because now you have the 56 pick. The Patriots want your pick, but you be like, "Yo, kick rocks," and then you just want to keep your pick.
We need a quarterback, so yeah, we need this pick.
so then you just click on reject. So this computer is taking forever. It does do that sometimes. And then what you're gonna do is you're going to go to, so he said he wants a quarterback. As soon as this goes away. Okay, you click on quarterback. This is who's available. Now, remember, you're now at the 56 slot, Reggie, okay? You're at the 56 slot. If this will ever click. And then what's going to happen is you're going to click on quarterback, and then you're going to see where the positions down here are going to change, right? Because now you're in all, and these are the best available, and who's available, who's up next. But eventually, there we go. Now the best available quarterback is Spencer Rattler. So I'm just giving you an example. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go over here to draft, and you're going to click on Spencer Rattler. Okay. And now Spencer Rattler is in your box. And then you're going to see the grade that Spencer got. Now you're up for the next pick is the 87th pick. The Vikings want to trade with you. Again, for this purpose, we're just canceling all that. And now let's say you need some offer the tackle. You go to offer the tackle, click on tackle. The best available tackle that's available is Blake Fisher from Notre Dame. Then you click on draft. That'll be your 87th pick. And now what's happening at the top is you're going to wait until you get to 121. You may get another trade offer. There you go. You got 3 offers, and it's up to you to look at those offers. And then how to look at them is you click on this little sidebar button, and the Tennessee Titans are offering you 3 picks in 2025. You see that? See the difference? Look at the year.
Yeah, I see it.
You saying? So this is 20. The Saints 20 will give you 1 pick in 2024, and then 2 picks in 2025. And then your last is the Bengals want to give you 1 pick in 2024 at 224, and they're gonna give you 3 picks for 2025. Okay, so that's if you want to add more picks. You're only going to get 1 more pick this year, and then you keep doing it, so on and so on and so on. Okay, remember, you're the G. This is the time for you to be the GM, and then eventually you're going to flip from being a GM to being an agent, and then you're going to negotiate, basically calculate a negotiation of 25% of the team salary cap. And I don't know if you guys even remember, what is the team salary cap for this year?
220, 228,
24, 224. Yeah. So 224, so it's 255,400,000. That's the team salary cap, 255.4. And then times 25% is 63 million. So out of all your picks in your again, yes, you're gonna have 2 hats, your GM side and then you got the agent side. So the GM side is you picking players, and then you're gonna put your agent's hat on, and you're gonna have to work with 63,850,000, as if you were basically kind of twofold, not just an agent, but also a salary cap administrator. Okay, because the salary cap administrator's job is to stay under the salary cap or make sure they spend money that they're supposed to spend. But you're not worried about the spending right now. You're just doing the negotiating. Okay, so wherever your guys get picked, and then from what you know, obviously about signals, it gets tiered. How much sounding bonus is going to get? They're going to get compared to what their P5 salaries. Those, remember, P5 salaries are all minimums. Okay, typically when guys get drafted, those minimums are what gets listed, and then their signing bonuses are what gets trickled down. Okay, so 63 million. So again, 25% of the signing bonus. Again, I'm going to show you the directions here in a second anyway, but just so you can see how to do that. Okay, this is your draft, and then once you're done, and then it'll write down, again, this is part of your presentation. Then write down all of your selections, all of your picks, and then do your thing as far as negotiating how much money they're getting. Obviously, it looks like, Reggie, you can see, I just noticed this. Daggone Cowboys got Mr. Irrelevant. They got 256. They got the last pick. So, you know what I'm saying? If you want to Brock Purdy him, you can go ahead and do what you got to do. Like, hey, man, we're going to hold on to you, so we're going to give you a little bit more money because we know you might be like Brock Purdy as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. But it's up to you. Handle it however you want to. It's up to you. However, when it's time for your presentation, when you turn it in on Tuesday, I want you to defend your draft. Okay, why you picked who you picked, how much money you gave, who you gave. So tell me, what your salaries are. And again, you put it together how you put it together. I'm not gonna tell you too much else to do, but I want, because again, we all went to college, obviously, but I want you guys to put it together as you would any type of presentation. Okay.
Aren't the salaries all gonna be minimum 2024? Just signing bonuses we're doing?
Right, but how much is the contract? I mean, how many years is the contract?
4.
Unless you get a first round pick. If you happen to get a first round pick and you want to keep your first round pick, that's going to be 4 plus 1, and you got to give more money.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so that's that part. Go back to our original tab. Okay. Nope, not you. Okay. Now we're gonna go back to our tab here. And again, you guys are gonna get this all written out anyway, but I just wanted to make sure I showed you that. How to do that? Go to Draft Simulator, set the settings criteria. With that stuff, we already went through all that. Okay, so that's all the hard part. The easy part is gonna be the fun part, which is you being your own GM. That's it. Okay.
Got
Any
it.
questions?
Got it.
Any questions?
No, sir. Pretty straightforward.
Okay. All right. If you have any more questions, again, those guys, I'm pretty sure you guys have my cell phone. Tony, I thought you had my cell phone for sure, but I didn't see your email till literally like just now, from like earlier in the week. But you guys, it's best if you text me rather than just email me, because I get like a gang of emails, and please keep me in your prayers. I'm trying to get my kicker, Seth Keller, to the Washington Commanders. That's what we've been working on this past week, is working with Adam Peters and Rob Rogers on bringing this daggone kicker in. Because you guys heard they let go of Brandon McManus. Remember that?
I heard.
Yeah, so we're trying to get a kicker on. They theoretically don't have a kicker, but Tress Way, who's on their roster, also is a punter and kicker. But he's been there 10 years, and they ain't won a playoff game since. But that's beside the point.
Where are you in the process?
What's that?
Where are you in the process? Like closing the door, or is it?
No, well, again, conversations. We're going through conversations. So what's happening is, and we had a conference call with the UFL today, and I'm not sure if you guys know much about how the UFL and NFL now has partnered on this same thing with the CFL, because you know what? Hold on, fellas. All right, you guys stay there, but that concludes our presentation for today. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording.